And hello and welcome once again to It's My YouTube and I blog if I want to, the place where the production values are so high that I think I actually have this whole thing worked out with being able to do a public chat. Uh, okay, cool. I actually have a viewer. I'm not quite sure how to do the public chat, but I have the Q&A turned on, so I guess you can try it that way and see if it's working. Okay, I believe I've actually figured out how to... Huh. Okay, I'm trying to actually see if this is actually going to load up and all, but thank you for joining. I'm not sure who you actually are. Yay! Questions you ask are visible on the web. Okay, no wonder things are going so slow. I have that. Okay, I actually need that open. Okay, cool. Now, how do you actually do this on the public chat? Yeah, this is mostly me learning how to do this. Okay, I don't know who the hell I actually had as a... Okay, currently entering the test question, and that's done. So, huh. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to... All right, now, let me share this. Okay, cool. Yeah, eventually I will figure out how to get the public chat going. But anyway, we're going to do a stream in which we talk about how it is that I build my stuff. In case you hadn't seen my last video, this is the main body. Well, this is the front of the helmet, which is going to be actually sitting on. Let's see if I actually have this thing set up. Okay, as you can see here, this is the Mando Fett Ridged helmet. This is actually done by a friend of mine over in Wales who, I'm trying to remember, I think this is one, I think he actually came up with this version specifically because I saw another helmet that he had done that I liked. But it was one side had the small, the shorter part, where in one part, and then the other side had a much taller piece, because it was designed basically to be kind of a redesign and more in a sleeker version of the Boba Fett helmet. And I sit there and I showed him modifications that I had done, but I was having trouble getting a few specific things worked out, so he helped me get that together. And then he ended up coming up with this, because he was kind of inspired by what I had done, and actually took to heart some of the things that I'd said about the design and how it works, and how this specific kind of configuration will work much better with my design and what I'm doing. And so he actually came up with this as kind of more of just a generalized Mandalorian helmet for people to work with as well. But this is a very specific version that he did for me. And then he has how he normally does it. This particular version is completely and totally symmetrical because, well, other than like a couple of things here, which I told him I don't care about, but the helmet itself is symmetrical. He normally has very specific and documented offsets and angles on various pieces, so that way if his file ever shows up anywhere else, then he knows that somebody decided to distribute his file. He knows I don't distribute his files without direct permission, and I would actually have the person that wants the file contact him first. But like I said, he did this specific version. He actually did for me, which really all it was is like he might have like one thing or another here or something like that would actually be offset slightly, or it would be angled or whatever else. So he basically just made a perfectly symmetrical version for me. Well, anyway, right now what I am working on is this section here, and I will, right now I am in the process of, let's see. I actually have, well, I don't have these pieces attached yet, but I do have the central ridge, which is this. I do have that assembled. I don't have it attached here, which, as you can see, this is that central ridge, and then this and this are actually the side pieces that go on here. Like I said, I've got this here. So these two pieces actually go along this side, which I'll actually be dealing with that in a little bit. But so right now, though, what I'm working on is, I'm working on that, and so once I get this section done, then I'll be able to actually just attach it to this, attach it to the central ridge, and then I'll get this other side done. And then once I've got that, then I can do things like attach this, this part here, and then I'll probably end up doing I should have split that down the middle. I can do that. I can cut it if I need to. But basically planning on doing that. Okay. I have to decide to put this piece here either attached to that or to this, because it works a lot better, when you can just kind of bring your seam along. And so it's really a matter of which do I want to deal with. Uh, because with something like this, probably better if I attach, once I get this going, attach that there and there just to kind of get it secured, and then just kind of take, along here or along here. It really all depends on how the tabs go. When you're doing this, I would normally actually have all of the tabs along one side, and so that way, like, these tabs would actually be attached to the piece that attaches to this, and then I would have the tabs here, and then probably I have the tabs at the end, and then the flat like that is, so that way I can build pretty much in a circle and down, across and down, across and down. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier, depending on what you're doing though. That sometimes you just kind of need to monkey through it and just to do it as well as you can. But once I actually have this complete top dome done, then I can do things like add this piece, so that way I will have all of that, and then attach that, and then we'll probably end up doing that specific section, and then do it in there. And so basically, the way that the specific structure of the helmet or the chest plate or whatever it is really allows you to kind of plan your build and do the sections and everything else the way that you want and how it is that works for you. Sometimes I just say with it, I just pick up a spot and then just go from there. It just really depends on what my mood is. But normally, I really do kind of do my builds, very well sectioned out and everything else. So, and then as I'm doing everything, I try to lay everything out. I normally do all of the pieces, then I start to do the assembly. I don't know why I started doing it the way that I did this time, but the reason why I'm doing this video the way that I am is to show people I have shown previous builds that I never actually intended to finish. I mean, I kind of told myself that I was going to finish them in the first place, but then, realized that, no, screw it. I'm really not going to use this in my helmet, or I'm not going to use this in my armor, or I'm not going to use that in my armor. Even though I did like it, and I did actually plan on using it at the time, but then I realized that it didn't fit with the aesthetic and everything else of what I was going for. And so, yeah, so those match up. So that way when that goes, and then this piece, okay, so then 58 to 555, that, and then okay. Yeah, sorry, I was having to okay, so apparently now I'm screen sharing. This is going to be interesting to go back and watch this particular video. So, this is the Mando fit. This is the Mandalorian helmet that a friend of mine made for me. Like I said, he was doing this particular thing anyway. And then he actually did this specific design because of inspiration that I gave him. There was a different helmet he had, which was which was the modified Boba Fett, like this, except that one side, I believe it was this side, had the shorter piece. It was more square and everything else, which, I mean, it worked. And then the other side was actually a much taller piece. Might have been this side that was actually the taller side, but it was pretty much a modified Boba Fett helmet. I actually ended up doing my own modification to kind of a structural specification that I like, which I like everything perfectly symmetrical. When it comes to like my helmets and things like that, I prefer the symmetrical build, so that way when I'm designing the unfold and everything else for it, which is this over here, yeah, I like to be able to lay the parts out in a specific way and everything. This is actually what it is he did. The only modification I've done to this over here was he had it set in a different paper size. I used, standard letter paper. He had it set for A4. Not that big a deal, other than if I was to have printed his particular, if I had printed what he originally did, then it would have actually overlapped some pages and everything else. So, but this is the main tool that I use for my costuming and prop making. This is called Pepakura Designer 3. They have version 4 out at this point, but the only difference between 3 and 4 is that version 4 can do like very high definition graphic, like for templates or for textures and things like that. Like if I wanted to, I could actually have printed this thing out with like the black visor and like red, green, or whatever other colors I wanted on it. Unless, okay. Well, yeah, that's, I guess, an example of a texture. I think basically because the original OBJ, which is a specific 3D model format, they tend to be gray by default, but this kind of gives you an idea of, say I wanted to have obviously I'm just highlighting but yeah, that kind of gives you at least a basic idea of what texturing is. It just, it's basically what you make it look like. You can apply pictures, things like that. Texturing is a completely video on its own. I'm not going to get that far into it, but that's just an example of texturing, sort of. But like I said, look it up and you actually see. But yeah, that's just kind of, had this been textured, it might have looked like this with the actual gray and red. But like I said, that's just selecting parts. Uh, Go back to take the texture off. I always turn the textures off anyway, just so I can actually see the model itself. Well, in any event, what I'm working on right now is, pretty much that. Uh, okay, so yeah. Huh. But yeah, this is the section that I'm working on immediately. And then I've got to make a couple of decisions when it comes to how I proceed with this, because even though I could put this piece attached to there, it realistically is going to be easier for me to attach it to here and then go from there. Because when you're dealing with a valley fold, like this is, it's really kind of a bitch to deal with there. Having these mountain folds, having the mountain fold like that is a lot easier to deal with as a seam. So I will actually be, like I'll be doing this. Well, first I'll be doing, attaching this here and here, because of the way that build is, because of the way that piece is there. It's just going to be a lot easier to, to build this internal visor frame. Not that. Okay, that actually is in fact part of that. Okay, so yeah. Okay. So basically, all I got to do is attach it here and here, and then I can just close that. Wow, he actually did this unfold. I hadn't actually really looked at it before. I did like how it was done, but I didn't realize. Yeah, he actually does work a great deal like I do. So yeah, once that gets put together, then I've got that, so I can just attach that and that there. Uh, and so once that's there, and then this becomes so much easier, because then I attach this seam and then up the thing. Okay, so yes, I will definitely have to congratulate him on that. Well, and then as you can see, the very structure of the helmet itself kind of helps you, decide where your sections are going to be. So, well, anyway, like I said, this is going to be the main body of the helmet, and then the Predator helmet will go on to there. I don't feel like putting on, yeah, I don't feel like actually launching up Blender at this point. But I will at some point, now that I know how to do screen sharing, and I will actually get better at this. But yeah, I'll actually do up Blender and kind of do a demonstration of how I plan out my costumes and things like that. Uh, Basically, a lot of what it is that I'm doing, it works for me. Somebody else may prefer using pen and paper or whatever. The basic principles stay the same. But for now, this is going to be me doing this stuff. So I'm just going to leave it going while I'm building, and because I found out that hmm, I may actually have somebody joining me in a moment. Apparently, there's a slut walk going on. But okay, so let's see now. We have wonderful. We have oh my god. Let me actually yeah, this is going on. I mean, oh my god. Don't tell them not to how the calm down for a minute. Oh wow. All right, yeah. Uh, I got somebody that'll actually be coming on in a minute to yeah, actually discuss this slut walk thing. Oh my god. and I've got to. Okay. Anyway, so while I'm waiting for any number of random people who may end up joining in, apparently there is yet again another all men are evil, so therefore, yeah, it's yeah. Don't tell me not to defend myself. Don't tell me not to take basic precautions. No, teach men not to rape. Oh my fucking god! I mean, I cannot believe that. Who? All right. Sorry. Yeah. When I see things like this, it really kind of bugs me because here in the costuming community, we have this big, cosplay is not consent thing, and I understand, the how it is that you got a girl in body paint, armor, whatever else. No, do not go up and grab her ass, not go up and do whatever else. And in the cosplay community, we police ourselves pretty damn well. If somebody's being a dick, we actually, we as a community come together and let them know, hey, we do not find that crap acceptable. But there's also the problem in which people like guys end up actually do have a much higher rate of being groped and assaulted and things like that while they're in their armor. The biggest problem that guys have to deal with is people trying to steal props and whatever else because they think that we can't see them. That's part of the reason why it is. Any of us who are doing full armor tend to have what's called a handler or a spotter, who basically, okay, if we need water and whatever else while we're there, then yeah, they'll make runs or whatever else. But also, as we're walking around, they make sure that we're not going to walk into anybody. They try to keep people out of our path. But also, like when we're sitting there and talking to the people who are admiring our costumes and stuff like that, when they make sure that people don't try to friggin' run off with damn props and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you know, oh man. Anyway, for now, I'm just gonna keep this to about doing the armor. Anyway, uh, oh, I actually have a viewer. Well, by the way, I have the Q&A turned on, so if you want to ask questions and whatever else, feel free to. This is the helmet that I'm working on. Yeah, this is the helmet that I'm working on. Right now, I am actually in the process of working on for the select. Yeah, I'm in the process of working on this section right now. This was actually created by a friend of mine, for me. It is kind of specifically, uh, you know, Oh yeah, Lord Squid. Yeah, actually, that is also a big problem. Is you have the cosplay celebrities that a lot of, like, there's some like Yaya Han. I actually found out she in fact does actually make her own costumes for the most part. She does commission some stuff, but apparently she actually does make her own costumes. But then you have the cos porn celebrities, the ones who they'll dress up in a costume every once in a while, but they pretty much if you look at like their Facebook profiles and stuff like that, the bulk of their pictures are they're wearing like Batgirl panties, a really skimpy cut up Spider-Man t-shirt, and maybe a Miss Marvel mask or something. And then they got their legs spread wide the fuck open. And then when somebody, and then complain about being objectified. But then they sit there and they had this Amazon wish list and whatever else and all. And, I mean, it's pretty much they really are just using the sex end of the thing and pretty much preying on the stereotypical, geek and whatever else who's lonely and all that crap. But they friggin' and it really does detract from the the various cosplayers who actually do cosplay, for the fact that yes, we all like the attention, but you have the people that they just got famous as opposed to getting famous, or that's the point of it. And so, oh, yeah, and then the problem is you have the ego clash, you have all of the different stuff out there because you have people trying to upstage each other as well. But then you do have the ones who they wear these skimpy ass costumes and stuff like that. They expect to not be ogled and everything else like that. And it's like, what world are you living in where you are showing more skin than you are more skin than fabric, and you expect to not be noticed? And I mean, but yeah, there is a problem within the cosplay community that it's not really that bad, but it is really, really annoying to have to sit there and watch just the various crap. What's worse is not even the annoying cosplay celebrities. It's watching the friggin' just bickering and sniping and everything about them. That is what really just bugs the shit out of me. I mean, it gets to the point where I don't even want to like pay attention to any of like the cosplay groups and stuff like that. I originally joined most of the cosplay groups that I'm in because of the fact that, hey, I could actually see various costumes, get some ideas and techniques and whatever else. I mean, and it's just really gotten to the point where I don't even want to bother going to those pages, and I pretty much stick to like the RPF and the 405 because it is purely about what we do and how we do it, rather than what what you're wearing, what you look like, all the other crap. It is purely about the actual craft. Yeah, I mean, that is another thing that they sit there and, I mean, the problem with the whole messaging for nude stuff is that a lot of the cosplay celebrities, they sit there and that's what they push is oh, I have these nudes and I have this, and oh, if you send me $100, you get a lifetime subscription to my sexy Snapchat. And so because we have so many of that type out there, then you have the various neck beards and whatever else that's what they start asking all of them for. And then they end up coming across the ones that, no, they're not selling the nude pics. No, they're not selling this or whatever else. And then friggin', they start, and they end up getting deluged with a bunch of friggin' perverts wanting nude pics because of all the ones that do push their nude pics. So yeah, I mean, there's several little feedback cycles that keep making one thing or another better or worse than all of the rest. So it's just, I mean, eventually I will actually have various answers ready for stuff, but I'm actually kind of glad of having to deal with these questions on the fly, though. And by the way, I'm trying to remember if you were the one I was talking to on Facebook about the slut walk. Because I'm trying to actually, as far as I know, this is actually the. I sent the when I sent the message. I sent the link in the message. That should be. Okay, crap. I don't even know how to. Eventually, I have to actually. I'm gonna have to learn the new friggin' form, the new friggin' thing, because I don't know how to send an actual join in link. Let me actually try something here. Yep, that's the link I need. Okay. Okay, good. Now I can. Yeah. But yeah, part of the reason why I'm doing this thing is because for all the people who, when I show them, like a helmet that I originally had gotten the helmet, a pretty good bit through the way. I'd gotten through the hardening stage and stuff. I hadn't gotten around to shaping it. I hadn't gotten around to painting it or anything else. I ended up actually, people were like, oh my God, this is so wonderful. It must take so much skill. And people, you don't realize it is a matter of, hey, okay, hold on a second. You're muted for some reason.
All right, am I good?
Okay, now you are.
All right, cool. What's up?
Not too much. I'm doing this because I've had people when I show them helmets that I haven't even finished, uh, like this one. People
What the
are
heck?
like,
That's
"Oh
pretty
my
awesome.
god!" Yeah, this is a modified Daedric helmet, by the way.
Huh.
Yeah, normally the Daedric is not symmetrical. I actually took it in the 3D modeling program Blender and then split it, made it symmetrical, and then went from there. And it's actually done with wood.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually done with wood glue instead of the fiberglass resin.
Hmm.
And the only reason it's got that split there is because I was demonstrating how strong it was, and I wailed it
Hmm.
and split it to one thing. That'll be easy to fix. But I actually get much better results with the fiberglass or with the wood glue and baby wipes, ironically, actually, instead of the fiberglass cloth and fiberglass resin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I show people those helmets and they're like, oh, that takes so much skill. And oh my God, that is just like amazing. And how do you do this? And I'm like, people, it is several hours of tedious cutting and folding and matching up numbers. Forrest Gump could do this stuff.
Hmm.
But now the skill comes in with the hardening, the shaping, the painting, the detailing, the weathering. Oh my God. Yeah, that's where the frustrating crap is. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a series of streams in which I actually just let people watch me build. But what's this about the slut walk you were telling me?
I wanted to see if we can get some people to go check it out and get some video footage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean,
I
I
mean,
have like 150 followers or so like people may end up actually seeing that. But let me
yeah, well,
see what I can do about. Okay, start screen share. I'm still learning how to actually do this. Okay, can you see it now?
yes.
All right. Now may actually go to it. Uh, okay, yeah, that's
Jesus.
oh god. Okay, yeah. When I saw the quad, I thought this was something going on in Atlanta, but oh my god, yeah. I don't know if I have any things. I'll have to mention this in the friggin'
Circle jerk.
oh yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
it's
was hoping
it's
to.
this Monday. We need to start sharing it around now so people can start making plans.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna send it to Prentice and I'm gonna see if he can start sending it out.
Yeah, Alan Gonzalez. Hopefully, he will actually, because I sent, I posted the link of the actual join link. See, I'm using the classic version, and so trying to get the link to actually join in. It's not like my wife was telling me because she was going to send me the link to watch the stream that she's getting ready to do. She's investigating a group called ACAL, which is the American Council of Witches. I'm not sure whether this Teach Men Not to Rape or the ACAL is a better example of why it is that certain people should not breed. But you have to kind of understand the history about ACAL and the American Council of Witches and like all that crap for it to really sink in about just the depths of that these people represent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, these slut walk. I mean, the whole thing is tell men not to rape,
Yeah.
and telling women that taking basic precautions of do not walk in certain areas, without some sort of, person with you. Be aware of your surroundings. I
Yeah.
mean, be aware of your surroundings is just a good bit of advice anyway, because cracks in the sidewalks, bottles on the ground, whatever else. I mean, things, inanimate objects could kill you because you're so worried about men should not rape you and therefore you shouldn't have to be aware of your environment because that's victim blaming. But yet that beer bottle
Yeah.
that was dropped by the lesbian is what broke your friggin' neck.
It's just fucking insane to me. So, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I can't really stay long because one, I'm getting tired because I've been up since 5 a.m.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I've been up since 5 a.m. and I wake up every morning at 5 a.m. because
Yeah, I have a toddler. I haven't slept past 7:30 in 2 years.
jeez. Yeah, no, so that's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go sleep soon. Fuck. No, because it's early in the morning. I get a lot done in the morning. I go to the gym. I come home. I eat breakfast, and it's already 7. It's only 7 o'clock. I don't have class for like 5 hours.
Yes, that's why I'm glad I don't go to college. I have no class. Yeah. But yeah, I will definitely share around the slut walk stuff. By the way, were you the squid? I saw somebody was asking doing on the Q&A. It was like laughing squid or something like that.
No, that's not me.
Oh wow! I actually have more than one person participating.
Huh.
Like that is like, yeah. I was actually surprised to find out that I have almost 150 followers. I'm like, how the hell has anybody heard of me? And then I remember I've actually been doing the circle jerk, every week for a while. So I'm thinking I may have actually been. I don't know whether I have what Sherlock Holmes calls Type A or Type B fans.
I was the guy that sent you. I was the guy that sent you that link to the to those fucking documents, those old archived newspapers of the feminist.
Oh yeah, I've got that bookmarked. I mean, it's like it's definitely fascinating to read, but it's like they're not organized in any way where if you wanted to sit there and like actually do research, you would have to like really go through and like pick everything apart. But I mean, just going down and reading that friggin' that archive is just mind-boggling on its own.
Like if somebody could sort it.
Oh God, yes. At one point, I was OCD enough where that would have actually, I would have been jumping on the chance.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'll see what I can do about trying to get in on that. I'll talk to the guy who's behind it, and I'll tell him hey, if you want, I can help you organize that.
Oh yeah, I mean it would be hard to add tag and whatever else, but hello Squid.
Right.
Yeah, like how did you actually ever find out about me? I'm surprised to find out I have 147 followers.
I'm Alan
Alan?
Gonzalez, yeah, the guy who liked the posts.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say, how did you even like find my channels in the first place?
Oh, you gave a link.
Huh?
You gave a link.
Oh, okay. I posted it in the group. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 147 followers, and I'm like, I'm just an opinionated autistic bastard with a YouTube channel that I waste time, usually talking about like my crafting and stuff, and then I get distracted by political rants all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you were asking about like the cosplay, so what kind of stuff do you see going on with like the cos porn celebrities and all?
Well, mainly the ones who have big boobs, like I said. They always get harassed and they get being called out for being attention whores, but basically just like dressing up as the characters who just happen to show off their cleavage, and
Yeah. I mean, I've seen there are a lot of them that they, it's like they, I mean, they are definitely pushing the sexuality, but then there are a lot that they just happen to have big tits.
Like, there's this one cosplayer I know, her name is Flaming Goddess, who gets the same thing. Like, she gets a lot of flack just because her boobs are big. She has another friend who is the same thing, and one time some guy with the camera came up to her and told her straight up to her face that he's going to put all the pictures he has of her into his wank folder. And when she heard that, like, she just was surprised that someone in a public place just told her that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, like with me, when I flirt with, like some of the cosplayers and stuff that I've seen, I mean, if you just take the what I say, or whatever at face value, and like people could sit there and say that, but in context, and the girl actually, she laughed at it. She was sitting there, she was all in red and black body paint, and I was standing there waiting for her to finish talking to somebody, and as she turned to me and she was like, "Hello," and I was like, "Oh," and she was smiling. She said, "I'll take that." There's a difference in how you approach whatever, but I mean, sitting there saying you're going to put people's pictures in your spank bank, I mean, that's just no. It all depends on the thing. Like at Frolicon, that's actually a valid pickup line.
It is?
Oh yeah, sitting there and saying that, it's like Frolicon is it's not actually a sex convention. It's a adult only sci-fi and fantasy convention, and there is a sexual contingent, an area, while that goes on. And so if you're in that area, I mean, you can sit there and go up to a woman and say, "Hi, nice shoes, want to fuck?" And that's a legitimate pickup line because it's everybody there, knows you're not just perving on everybody. It's a sexually open area. But if you are outside that area, people might look at you funny.
Mm-hmm. Didn't know that.
Right, it's an interest. I mean, I've been wanting to go. I just haven't had a chance to. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go because of it being Easter and now me having a kid. It's like, do I really want to sit there and actually play strip poker in a room full of 50 people, or do I want to watch my kid go on an Easter egg hunt? It's like being a parent does kind of change your priorities a little bit.
Were you thinking of your wife?
I want to. The problem is like I'm not sure whether she's really wants to or not. I mean, I'm trying to actually get her excited about going to Dragon Con. And she she's excited for the fact that she knows I will have fun there, but she really doesn't like dealing with people in general.
Mm-hmm.
But she said she will deal with them because I want to go there. And I hate pieces like this.
Anyway, I think that's it for me. I'm gonna go cash out tonight. I'll talk to you gentlemen later.
All right.
See ya.
Later.
Yeah. So, how'd you get into like doing costuming or anything else, or do you?
I don't. But
Oh,
I
so
just,
basically just a fan.
yeah, I guess. It was just, I seen what they can do. Like some cosplayers. They look
Mm-hmm.
fantastic, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you've seen like the people who dress up as like Boba Fett and all.
Well, I've seen some who dress up like a armored, make their own armor costume. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you see this right here.
Yeah.
Let me This is what I'm working on, and so that's the section that I'm actually in the process of right now. And then once I actually harden it, and do the shaping and the painting and everything, after I have glued all of these pieces together and made this, which this piece here gets removed, obviously, after I'm done building it. That's when, that's when that's when it can actually be made to look like movie studio quality. This is another one that I had started that this one I'm not going to bother finishing because I changed my mind about using it. But this is, yes, an Iron. This is actually like two different Iron Man helmets, that I actually put like apart from one and then section from another. And this is actually a Predator part.
Really?
Yeah. And then this is actually hardened with fiberglass, which it's like it gives a good hard shell, but I don't like the fact that it's harsh. It's dangerous to work with and everything else. I got a 2-year-old, so I want to try to be able to get him into doing crafts and things like that. But yeah, like this is, and this right here is actually a Iron Man chest plate. Yeah, and so
I've been working on that.
this actually took me maybe 8 hours. But I might actually use this piece, or I may build another one. But I mean, because I'm actually doing, because this thing actually, this is, pretty much the size that I need. I'm actually going to be doing the White Ranger chest armor, and then this over that, and then the Hulkbuster backplate.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I'll be doing the Iron Man Mark 7 abdomen because it's a lot easier to make it move. Probably gonna do RoboCop's legs, and then I haven't decided the arm pieces specifically. But that helmet that I showed you the picture of in the first place, this is actually what's going on that.
What is that? What's
No, this is actually a combination of a Predator helmet, and then what I've done is I've actually taken the lower part of Darth Vader.
Oh yeah.
And like I took the lower half of the face from one Darth Vader model, and the guy who actually made the modified Boba Fett helmet model actually did this section specifically for me out of a model that he was already working on. And then like the next version of this that I'm going to do, I either want to put electroluminescent panel or columns of LED lights. So that way, when I'm talking, it will light up. And then because I switched over to an e-cigarette, originally I was going to try to build a vape unit into my helmet. So that way, when I went to take it off, you would get that smoke effect that you got from the Predator movies. But then also when I'm standing around the convention hall and, having to hand out business cards or just basically do whatever, I won't have to leave to be able to take a hit off the e-cigarette.
How long have you been making these crafting in general?
How long have I been doing it?
Yeah.
I've been kind of screwing around with it for about 3 years, but I actually got serious, about doing it. I mean, realistically, I was like, I wanted to get serious starting about 2 years ago, but it's only been in the past couple months that I really decided that it's time for me to quit talking about how great it would be to do all this crap and just start doing it finally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so so I'm actually, because I'm on disability for high functioning autism. Specifically, I have something called pervasive developmental disorder, which means that I don't have a problem making eye contact, which is kind of one of the major traits for that you see with high functioning autistics. I just don't have the eye contact issue. But other than that, I still have pretty much a lot of the same, the same stuff that they do. I'm a bit more mild with mine. But that's why I'm doing the costuming and stuff, is because it's, there's very good money in it. And then by doing the YouTube and stuff like that, I can kind of draw attention to the stuff that I'm doing. I've got like a kind of an overall project going. The main thing is I'm trying to develop a rehabilitation system so you can use somebody's hobbies to teach them marketable job skills. And then I sit there and realized a couple months into that while it would work for somebody with my interest range, you really can't, if somebody's hobby is cooking, you really can't teach them 3D modeling. You can't teach them computer programming. You can't teach them certain skills that are really in demand in the job market. With costuming, on the other hand, like I'll be using something called the Arduino or and the Raspberry Pi, which are two microcomputers basically. The Raspberry Pi is capable of running a full operating system. And so by learning how to program the computer to control the light and sound functions, to be able to eventually I plan on doing a Hulkbuster with I'll actually be able to wear a regular Iron Man armor in. If I have sensors in the undersuit up against my skin and like the legs and the arms, I can activate assistive motors that will help the costume move and make it a lot easier for me. If I take that basic system and strip it out, yank it out of the Hulkbuster, and then I do things like I increase the strength of the motors, I increase all of the various capabilities, make sure that it can balance well and everything, then I can turn around and turn that into a heavy cargo lifter. Or I can scale it down and make an assistive mobility frame for somebody who's having trouble walking or whatever else. See, that's what the talent I have is I'm a natural engineer. I can take my ideas and I can see multiple different ways to go with it, where other people might think of one thing and process them out. I'm able to look at both forks at the same time. And so it's not just about making money from doing costuming and props. That's just a fun way to make a buck. I'm looking at it like because the Iron Man helmet has a full function computer in it with various display capabilities and everything else, I can take a look at how can I build a functioning computer display into a helmet. How can I give it the ability for if you're in a costume and you need to be able to see, well, the camera and the chest plate and whatever else can do that. And then once I've got that working, then how can I give that camera infrared capability? How can I give it low light capability? Things like that. Turn around and market that product to police, military, and then take the same basic system and market it to other cosplayers who need to be able to see while they're in a costume. And then I can take the same full function computer, turn around and put that into a better body shell that the general public would wear and market a fully functioning wearable computer. And so my whole thing with me, the rehabilitation plan is not just about developing a way to teach others job skills. It's about me personally being able to get my life together, to use the skills and interests I have to move beyond what I've been doing. My problem isn't working, it's I can't hold an actual job. I can work full time as long as you don't fill out a W-2 form. The second you fill out the paperwork and you formally employ me, I don't feel a sense of control and security. I start to get anxious and I don't work very well once I'm officially hired. But are you actually interested in getting into doing costuming and stuff?
Well, I have no idea where to start.
Well, let's see. A good place to start is right there. You know, like these are just the things that I've actually been looking at recently. Like, do you see the sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the sword from Legend of Zelda. I've actually made one of those before for my niece. Uh,
How long did it take?
that one took me about 8.5, 9 hours, and that's just because it was only the second thing I'd ever built. Let's see. And then if you really want to get all sorts of, wait for the damn thing to load. Yeah, if you really want to get, if you really want to get ambitious, that is actually a life-size Link. And this shield, the sword, and that scabbard on the back are all separate pieces that can actually be worn. But yeah, like I was saying, like when you see here with the all these pieces, all of that, like the stuff you saw with the helmet and everything, that's what this is right here. All of these, things. You go and you print out what you saw on the side of the screen there. I actually use, Rice Krispies, Cheerios. I mean, I use cereal boxes for my actual build material. But I go and I spray a layer of the adhesive on it and put the pieces on. With these, because I had a bunch of cereal boxes I just need to get rid of because they're taking up space, is why I just used one sheet per side of the cereal boxes. Yeah. Normally, what I would do is I actually on the Pepakura program. Let's see, make sure that's actually. Yeah, let me go back to. Yeah, because I need this. I need this to be open anyway. I was eating a pie earlier, and I just hadn't. All right, come on, waiting for this. Okay, yeah. You have, and make sure this is actually doing. All right, cool. Yeah, you have the various sections, like this right here. Okay. Now, what I'll do normally when I'm planning a build, like I didn't do it with this thing, is I will go into the model and I will select the various parts that I want, to be part of that section. And then I do that, and then I change the name, basically I'll sit there and, name the section that I want it to be. And then I will go through and you see how these all say part whatever here? Mm-hmm. Assuming that I had done the rename of the section, then everything in, say, left top or right bottom, jawline, whatever I decided to name that section, those would all come up. And then I could go to the third sheet and cut out all of these pieces that you see highlighted I would cut out those pieces and then group those together. And then I would go to the next section and cut out all of these pieces and group those together. And then you come here, you cut out the pieces, and then you just follow the lines. Once you get to this stage of it, that's when, like, I use, basically these are just jeweler's pliers. You see on here where you see these dotted lines?
Yeah.
There are two different types of dotted lines. These particular ones that you see, those are all called mountain folds, which a mountain fold is because it looks like a mountain. A valley fold looks like a valley. Pretty simple. When you have the dotted lines that are just a regular dotted line, that's a mountain fold. If you have one that kind of looks like sort of like a train track. You see how that one's a bit different dotted line?
Yeah.
That's a valley fold line. When it comes to this stuff, it doesn't matter whether it is something simple like the cube. Like when you download Pepakura Designer, it's a free program. The only thing you need to key code for is if you want to save a file. Like say I went and I pulled up the Mando Fett helmet, and I decided to rename all the sections and stuff like that and rearrange the print grid to the way it worked best for me. And then I wanted to save that layout and those names. I would need to pay for like a $35 key code. But that means I would be able to save new files. I could export them because I also use a program called Blender, which I can then, just from straight up nothing, I can go and create shapes and modify them, pull them and edit them and everything to take just a flat square or a cube and turn it into a full Iron Man armor. Or I could actually do Pixar, like Toy Story. You can do that level of animation with Blender. I use it to make, the kind of model that you saw there. Really simple crap. Any Forrest Gump could do that in 2 hours kind of thing. And then what I'll do with Blender is I'll take the files and I will export them as a PDO, as an OBJ file, so I can position them and actually get some sort of concept image of what my final build is going to be. But the simplest thing to do is, like, on Facebook, go to like the Pepakura library, and there are lots of people there who can actually help you, like, find tutorials and stuff like that. You can go on to YouTube and just look up Pepakura tutorial. Serial Killer Studios has some of the best tutorials, by the way. But yeah, once you actually go and you take the pieces, after you cut them out, you fold where it needs to be folded. And then you match up all of these numbers. Right here it says 455, and there's a matching 455 right there. You take your hot glue gun, make sure you do not touch the pointy end. That will hurt a lot. Put a little bit of glue on a couple of tabs. Once you've been working with it for a little bit, you kind of know about how far you can go out with tabs before the glue cools down too much to be able to be used. And then you just match up the numbers, press them together, let your glue cool down to set, and you just keep going. You know, it's like I have to laugh every time I hear somebody talk when I showed them my helmets, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so much skill, and yeah, it's so wonderful." And I'm like, "Oh my God, people, you don't realize making a helmet, it's not skill. It's not, you know, like this wonderful feat of structural engineering and ingenuity. It's 14 hours of mind-numbing boredom and tedium. It is cutting and folding and matching up numbers for chunks of your life that you will not get back, so that way you can step out onto that convention floor and see that little 9-year-old kid whose eyes light up because holy crap, it's Iron Man. So yeah, that 14 hours that I spend on something like this right here, just to the stage that I have it now, took me approximately 19 hours. Yeah. Let's see. This right here. You know, like this is, you know, a helmet from a video game warrior called a Daedric. This took me 14 hours. And I actually modified the original model myself. I put the original model into Blender. I cut it in half because the original model was not symmetrical. I cut it in half and mirrored it so that way I had the helmet the way that I wanted it. This is an Iron Man chest plate. Yeah, and this is all done. Like, this is actually done with the kind of, you know those cardboard display boards that kids use in the science fair?
Yeah.
That's what that is. I may end up actually using this.
What is that? Oh,
that's a forearm piece. Well, technically, this is actually a, let's see, I think, yeah, this was originally, yeah, I actually ended up doing this too small. Originally, this was actually supposed to be the bicep piece up here. Mm-hmm. And it just did not come out. It didn't come out right. I ended up sizing it too small. But the combination of the two actually makes a good, worthwhile forearm. If I can find the other one, I may actually still use it. But then you see here, like this cut here was not part of the original shape. I actually ended up having to do this cut right here, you know, to actually make it work correctly for me. So as you go along with doing prop making and costuming, you learn things like this. Like, okay, you know, if it coming straight across here, because you see right here, it can't, you know, because of that cutout, I'm able to move my arm better. Had I left that there, it would have kept digging into my arm. Mm-hmm. So you learn a lot of different things. You know, like I said, if I can find the other forearm, then I may end up actually still using it. Oh. Okay, well, yeah, see, this is the bicep piece. I actually got this one sized correctly.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. This is approximately like 8 hours total. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I did was like, I liked the idea originally, and then just kind of decided, no, I don't like it. Like, this was originally a Magneto helmet. Originally, it actually had the piece that came down here, and then it had some other stuff or whatever. I was originally going to use this as the base for that Predator helmet, and then just decided that no, I actually didn't like the way it was coming out. And then because I have other things planned, like I'm planning on putting the computer display in there, the Boba Fett helmet is actually much better because it has more structural points that I can go and put like a little bit of like Bondo putty or something like that and form a ridge on the inside of the helmet. So that way when I put the computer display in, I have something to pop the screws into to be able to hold it in place firmly. But what else do you notice about like the cosplay community that you see as like either issues or as good stuff?
Um, mainly the bad stuff.
Well,
Like there are
like what?
there are still guys going out and taking pictures without asking. That's an issue.
The one thing about the pictures in the cosplay community,
Yeah.
everybody does understand that when you were out there, that I mean, it's polite to ask permission before you start taking pictures, but you are in a public area. You do know that people are going to take pictures. But yeah, there is a problem with people. Like if I was sitting there having lunch, like I'm just trying to eat, not sit there and have to interact with people or whatever else, then yeah, you do have a problem with people trying to sneak pictures and whatever else. But for the most part, yeah, you very rarely get the the paparazzi type or the really pushy asshole photographer people. For the most part, everybody is generally pretty decent. What'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, yeah. For the most part, though, people are actually pretty decent because, like, the only time that people really have a problem, like one of the few times people really have a problem with the photography, is if you have a professional who is doing a photo shoot, because he's actually like this is like a commission piece, or or there's actually like at Dragon Con they have specific groups. Like they have they have a photo shoot that is specifically for DC characters of a specific, era in comic books, and they require that you have to be, pretty precise and accurate in your costume. Well, sometimes you may end up having people that they'll try to get pictures of people at the photo shoot and stuff like that, where it's like this is actually somebody's specific thing. And we actually have a bigger problem with people finding pictures that have been posted somewhere and then posting them somewhere else saying that that is their picture. That's actually the more common problem we have.
Without crediting the original source?
Well, no, I mean, like there was somebody I saw recently. They went and they had a picture of Jewel Stady, who was on a show called Firefly. She was the mechanic for the ship. And somebody actually went on to this person's profile, stole the picture, with the person that like the person who was whose picture it actually was actually in the picture with them, and on the table was the badge from Dragon Con. This person, the one who stole the picture, actually said that it was a picture that they took at the San Diego Comic-Con, which is on the other side of the country. So you have some people that they try to act like they got like what like a major picture that somebody that people are impressed by. And then you have a lot of and the flip side too is about the pictures getting stolen. You have a lot of photographers who it's very easy to do what's called watermarking, where you have something that pretty much goes on the picture, so that way if anybody sees it, they know that this picture was taken by whoever took it. And a lot of photographers just can't be bothered to do a simple watermarking to actually protect their picture. because they're like, oh, but that'll ruin the picture. I'm like, then what you do is you have the picture that you keep for yourself or that you show people right there. But the one that you post on Facebook, you make sure you watermark the hell out of that thing. Otherwise, if somebody steals the picture, unless you can actually prove that it was yours, then you're kind of screwed on that.
Never heard of anything like that before.
Well, I mean, I saw some people talking about it earlier today. I mean, it's been common for a while, but yeah, when people are sitting there, I think actually also the other like big problem that we have in the community is you have people that rather than just getting like the picture or whatever that like they're sitting there and the person in the costume is in the convention hall and they're posing or whatever else, and instead of people want to sit there and try to act like they are these massive professional photographers and whatever else, and it's like rather than just getting a picture and moving on, being grateful for it, they act like that those of us who were wearing the costumes, like somehow we owe them whatever, or somehow we work for them. I mean, like me, I'm not what you would call a major costumer or cosplayer. I build this stuff because I'm trying to eventually make money selling the stuff. So I'm going to be wearing what I'm building. I'm going to be wearing this at Dragon Con, to promote the fact that, hey, I'm doing this kind of crap.
Have you been paid to make a prop?
Well, I made about, like, so far the only paid gig I've actually done so far was somebody gave me about $20 to do a quick repaint on one of their things. I mean, nothing major. It was pretty much just, I had to, basically just hit it with a layer of red, and then fill in some yellow and blue highlights. Other than that, I mean, I haven't actually done any actual paid or commission gigs. But I am going to be working on the Assassin's Creed Hidden Blades pretty soon, and once I get those done, the first two that I make, I'm going to be actually having on my costume, but that's one of the things that I'll actually be making for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Because this thing, once you put it on, when you go and you pull the string, the blade will not only extend, when you pull it again, it will actually retract on its own.
How much do you sell for them?
I'm going to actually see what the what the general market is bearing right now. But I mean, there are people that, I mean, they sell just a simple prop like an Iron Man helmet alone. I mean, just something like this. If this was done up as a Predator helmet, could go for probably $150 to $200 easily. This, on the other hand, this is a $260 lightsaber. So it really all depends. Now, the reason why those are so expensive is because the components for them are a bit pricey, because like the Obsidian soundboard, Ultra Sabers is the company that does that one. I'm getting ready to actually start making them myself. And then I have mine over on the thing. Mine's, mine actually cost more than that one. Or no, my wife cost more. Mine was $10 cheaper. But where did I put? Okay, somewhere around here. I don't know where it is at this point. But like, you ever seen the movie Tron Legacy?
No, I haven't.
Oh God, you got to see it. Well, they have they have something called an identity disc, which is a among other things, it's a throwing weapon. It's this big disc, and I actually have one that I made. I actually saw somebody who was wearing a costume from from the movie, and he had the identity disc replicas that were being sold, licensed and everything else. And I mean, they looked good, but they weren't bright or anything else. He actually said just the piece of crap cardboard knockoff that I had done with no lights, whatever else, he would have been perfectly happy paying me $30 for how good that was. Once I actually get that done, my Tron replica discs are going to end up being like $180. So you can make good money. It's just a matter of getting your stuff done, getting out there, and actually getting into the right market.
So about that slut walk thing.
Oh yeah, apparently in Illinois. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I posted the. Are you? Do you see the group chat up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I posted the link, to it on Facebook. I'm actually. I'm gonna see what I can do, but making sure I share that. To the anti-SJW groups so they kind of see what's going on. But yeah, that's been a problem for a while because rather than facing the fact that there are things that a woman can do to minimize the chances of being raped. Their whole focus is, well, teach men not to rape. It's like, we have been teaching men not to rape, and to be respectful or whatever for a while. It's still not changing anything. And so feminists want to say that, they want to say that trying to tell a woman to be aware of her surroundings, to, not just be sitting there just kind of up and wherever, but actually paying attention to what's going on around her and everything else, to be aware if somebody looks like they might be up to something or whatever, then how to take steps to deal with that. Learn self-defense. I mean, these are things that are just good advice in general. But the problem is that because you are sitting there and in any way, shape, or form telling a feminist that she as an individual might be responsible for her own actions or that there are consequences, it's like, no, their whole thing is that men are bad. Therefore, no matter what it is that she does, no matter how oblivious she is to her surroundings or whatever else, it's always got to be somebody else's fault when something happens. And people have tried to explain to feminists for a very long time that if a woman is raped, there is no question in anybody's mind that it is in fact the rapist's responsibility. And when we try to tell women to take basic precautions, we are not saying that you bring it on yourself or whatever else. It's, just like if you're sitting there and you are in a sword fight, in the Middle Ages up against a knight and whatever else, if you see a sword coming down at you, you don't stand there and say, you're not allowed to do that. You get out of the way. It's the same thing with sexual assault or anything else in today's day and age, is you can't just sit there and and just ignore it all.
I only see 2 comments from this page. Like only like 70 people are going. That's still not.
Well, that's how many people have actually clicked on this and gone,
Yeah.
or clicked on the thing. See, they have 144 interested. There are 70 who actually say that yes, they're going.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a lot of people like me. I'll sit there and I'll click interested on pretty much any of the invites that I get, because I'm curious to find out what's going on.
I just clicked on I'm going.
Oh my god.
I'm not even close to Illinois.
Yeah, see, if this was actually going where I could get to it,
Mm-hmm.
I might actually end up going. Yeah, student government and the Pan-Hellenic Council. Let's look up what Pan-Hellenic is. This is also another something that social justice warriors seem to have a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. We have, let's look up something here. Pan-Hellenic. So just by looking at this, if you actually understand how search results and stuff work, it's a very good way of telling how legitimate anything is. Now let's look up Hellenic. Hellenic means is relating to Greek. The first thing that comes up here you see is a definition, which shows this is actually a word. Hellenic, synonym for Greek. It means either or of or pertaining to the Hellenic Republic, which is modern Greece, or the Greek people and culture. Of relating to ancient Greek culture. Very, very simple. Hellenism or Hellenic stuff, it means Greek. The Pan-Hellenic Conference. Yeah, the student government and the Pan-Hellenic Council. Let's see what Pan S. Pan, word forming meaning all, every, whole, all inclusive, from the Greek pan, combining form of pas, neuter, pan, masculine and neuter, gender, whatever the hell. Pan is the root word for many words. Basically, it means, of many or beyond whatever the hell it goes in. So, yeah, already we're seeing that this slut walk thing is being held by an organization which bases itself on what they say is an all-inclusive whatever else, but is still yet another man-hating organization. We are encouraging students to come dressed in what they would normally wear on a night out, and we will walk around campus. Our message, no matter what a person is wearing, they are not asking to be sexually assaulted.
And by person, do they just mean just women? If a man does that, they're
Pretty
probably
much,
gonna.
yeah, pretty much they are.
No.
Pretty much they are saying women because apparently, men cannot be sexually assaulted. I mean, all the different things. And then you have the different feminists who are saying that every sexual act, if it is penis and vagina, it is rape. Period. It's like, yeah, and see the problem is that all of this stuff about sexual assault on campus and everything else, you know the entire thing is based on a study which was proven to be false in the first place, saying that 1 out of every 5 women on college campuses gets raped. And it's like, no, they don't. It's been proven repeatedly that no, that was not a thing, because they were sitting there and including all sorts of whatever as rape and sexual assault. Did you have sex while drunk? If you were a woman, that counted as you being raped, because you technically could not give consent because you were intoxicated. You know, then they sit there. I mean, it's, oh god, yeah. The whole campus sexual politics has just it. There is hope on the horizon, because we've actually been seeing where a lot of people are getting so sick of the pampered daycare mentality of college campuses that it's really starting to thing. I mean, did you see that thing where the guy was assaulted because he had dreadlocks?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
cultural appropriation wasn't that it?
Yeah. And see, people were asking the very legitimate question. It's like, hold on a second here. We have an individual who is physically holding a person in a location against their will, who is making statements which do in fact qualify as threat of violence. When she was sitting there and asking her friend if he had a pair of scissors on him, she was going to actually commit physical assault by cutting off that guy's hair. And people actually asked the question, well, it's like, hold on a second, she assaulted him. How can we say that she does not need to be expelled? What if this was a white man and a black woman? Or what if this was a black man and a white woman? I mean, if this was a man who committed this act, people would be screaming for his head. And so, yeah, I think the college is starting to realize that, okay, crap, we need to do something about this, because, they learned from what happened with Melissa Click.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you really do not want to let a situation in which basically, if a student is assaulted, because that's basically what happened with Melissa Click, is that because she was sitting there and saying, "Hey, I need some muscle over here." The journalist that she was trying to have ejected through physical intimidation was a student at the campus, and because the school did not immediately just fire her outright, their admissions are down so much they really don't even know if they're going to stay open as a school. I'm kind of hoping that they recover, because the fact that they did finally cut ties with her, but it's they kept her on payroll for so long that, I mean, I really need to find out, was it because there was union rules or whatever else that kept her in there? But then again, she wasn't actually even really a teacher at the school. She was, basically she helped out with journalism or whatever else. I mean, like, she wasn't even an actual teacher to begin with. But because of the fact that the school did not cut ties with her immediately and a student was assaulted, then yeah, there was a serious uproar around it. Here we have a student who was assaulted based on race. And yeah, a lot of people are like, crap, we've been saying for years blacks can't be racist, whites can't be assaulted, and whatever else. And here we have it on video. And they couldn't shut it up. They couldn't, they couldn't hide it. And so now they actually have to address it. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out.
I always hear about blacks can't be racist, but what about other races? Like you have Muslims and Jews going, at it each other for years. I'm pretty sure they don't like each other, possibly due to religious conflicts or just the race.
Yeah. Well, and they sit there and they say that, well, it's prejudice plus power. Well, take a look in South Africa where it is a black government. They actually not only replaced all whites in the government with blacks, they actually even went and took people's land. They took businesses and everything else and gave them to black people. It's like they sit there. You hear a lot of the black activists talk about how, oh, we could run this so much better and this, that, and the other and everything. Here it is. They were handed infrastructure, roads, plumbing, electricity. They were handed everything on a silver platter, and they drove it into the ground very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But you take a look at it, here you have a country that is in fact a black-run government. It is a black culture. It is blacks in power. So how is it that if they discriminate against a white person, how is that not racist? You have prejudice plus power in that situation. But the liberals will go on and tell you that, oh, it's the anguish of the black man for the generations of oppression. Okay, well, what about in China? They say that Chinese people can't be racist because, the white power structure. What about over in China? Is that, can they be racist there? Or because, they're Chinese, they're people of color, they can't be racist.
What about Taiwan?
Yeah.
I hear China and Taiwan are not really at good terms. And I think even some Chinese are still pissed at what the Japanese did back in, decades ago.
Yeah, they kicked their ass. The Japanese don't like us. They respect us, or at least they used to before, because we dropped a bomb on their ass. They attacked us. We dropped a friggin' nuke. And ever since then, they've played nice. But Japan has always had a deep-seated belief that they are, in fact, the rightful rulers of the universe. That's been kind of, their whole ideology and everything, for generations. They're, the Chinese emperor or the Japanese emperor is God. I don't know what happened with Taiwan. I know that that Tibet is not happy with the Chinese because they just want to have their own. They just want to have their own damn country back. That's it.
Oh, and also, Mexicans were pretty much enslaved by the Spanish. I don't hear us complaining about that. I mean, we speak Spanish. We still speak the ancient language of our ancestors. Well, some parts of it anyway.
Mm.
No, no complaints about that. You don't hear these people bringing that up. And I don't think, and I know my own kind. They don't. We don't really care. We just live our lives.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, yeah, like the Mexicans, are. My sister actually, she at one point ended up hooking up with a Mexican, thinking it
Huh?
was going to piss everybody off, and nobody really cared. See, like with
Black.
me, like with illegal immigration, people they sit there and if you say that somebody should be deported, then oh my God, you're a racist. And oh no, it can't be. Like, no matter what, if you think that somebody should be deported, there's no way in hell that you. Oh no, you believe that the immigration law
Applies
is
to
immigration law. So therefore, the only reason why you want somebody deported is because you're a racist bastard. Has nothing to do with the fact that somebody broke immigration law. I don't care if they're Canadian. I don't care if they're Cuban. I don't care if they're from Holland, whatever else. If they're here illegally, that's kind of the reason why it's called illegal immigration. I mean, I have several friends that came here legally and everything else.
Mhm.
And it's not that I don't sympathize. I mean, I have seen the families having to deal with, like my sister's ex-husband, or actually they were never actually legally married, but like my sister's ex, his son got deported. His like 15-year-old son got deported. And so he's now having to worry about the drug gangs down there that might kill him at any day, having to worry about all of the basic stuff. So yes, I have seen the effect it has on people. But why should like that's the one thing that I can't say is I get called a racist because I believe in enforcing the law that was put there for a reason. Same thing about, like, I get just as pissed off at somebody parking in a handicap spot that doesn't that should not be, as somebody sneaking across the border. They are crimes, period. I mean, I do sympathize with it on a personal level. It's just, that's all I'm trying to say on that.
Like, I agree with you on that. Like, you're here legally, you should go back. Be deported. I mean, I was born here. My parents came here legally, so no worries there.
Yeah. I mean, I actually have friends who I haven't talked to them in a while, but I mean, I got friends who were illegals. I'm not going to be sitting there and, friggin' like calling INS or whatever else my damn self. But it's just, I mean, because like I said, my personal and my politics are completely separate things. Like when it comes to the illegal immigrations or whatever else, I would love for anybody to be able to just pack up and just go wherever they wanted to. But I understand I understand why it is we have to have the controls that we do. It is also not my job, to enforce immigration. Now, if I actually started working for immigration, that'd be a different story. But the illegals that I know actually, they actually started their own companies, like doing landscaping or whatever else and all. But, none of them took a job that could be going to a citizen. They actually made their own company and they all work together. They actually have even created jobs or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I can deal with it. But yeah, I mean, they all know that if the bus comes to pick them up, hey, I'll tell you what, give me your email address, I'll keep in touch. But hey,
Nothing you can do about it.
do it.
No, I said there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. I mean, And the same thing with like transgender issues and stuff like that. People sitting there saying, well, they should be able to use whatever bathroom and things like that. And I'm like, I know a few of them too. And it's like, the problem is that you have too many people that are opposed to it for what actually are legitimate reasons. Not that I personally hold them, but if you go and you take a look at the concerns that people have, they actually are asking legitimate questions. Like, I sit there and I saw so many things about trying just about saying kids who are transgender, and I'm like, has anybody thought about how it is that if you say that a 3-year-old child, which they've been saying, a 3-year-old child is intelligent enough to choose its own gender, don't you realize that eventually, it might not be now, but we do have a pedophile movement going on in this country that has been trying for years to get rid of age of consent laws, have tried to push various things saying that children are intelligent and can make decisions, and now you have people pushing the idea that a 3-year-old to 5-year-old child is so intelligent that it can pick its own gender, that it can actually make the decision to take hormone altering drugs, which will have far reaching health consequences, that they are intelligent enough to make this life changing decision at 3 years old. Then and I'm talking about, people have gotten so deep into the personal agency and their ability to express themselves and all of these, like, they don't realize that the pedophiles are going to use that same thing about, well, the child's agency and being able to explore its sexual identity and everything. And people don't realize that all of the things that everybody swore up and down, like, people are saying, oh, that's never going to happen. The same thing that the reason why, first off, they made interracial marriage legal, which, I mean, marry whoever the hell you want to. Well, people were sitting there saying that gay marriage was never going to be made legalized. And then they compared it to interracial marriage. And now you sit there, and pretty soon people are going to sit there and try to start getting this. I mean, they've already started doing the pedophile stuff. Now, what happens when, after they get to the point where everybody starts accepting that, well, it's just because somebody is a pedophile doesn't mean that they're a child molester. So therefore, we got to do that. And then, well, I mean, see, remember how when the blacks and the gays couldn't get married, they just love each other. People don't see how society has changed. I mean, I'm 42 years old. I have seen some things happen in this world that, if you told me back when I was a kid that this stuff would be going on, I've been looking at you like, what the hell? I was raised up in an era where you had personal responsibility. There was no, well, don't worry, little Billy. You showed up at the spelling bee. You get the same size trophy as the winner because you're a special snowflake. Now, winners are considered oppressive.
Around the same age, and they don't even know what, if they were told this stuff, like gender identity or sex, like, they're not gonna know what that is. And I'm sure my sister-in-law and my brother would not like that if these people ever, bring this up to them.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, have you ever heard of Stephanie Walsh?
No, who is that?
Oh my God. I'll post the link, to the to his interview. I mean, it's like, oh my God, this is cringeworthy. Yeah, this guy, 52-year-old Paul Walsh, actually divorced and left his wife. I think he divorced her. 9 kids because he finally realized that he was actually transgender. And well, guess what? He's not only transgender,
Yeah,
he's a transgendered 6-year-old.
Right, I remember now.
Yeah,
I remember now.
he says he's a 6-year-old girl. Well, guess what, kids? Not only do his adoptive mommy and daddy let him play with their children and their grandchildren, guess where they met? He met his adoptive mommy and daddy through FetLife. Yeah, if you actually listen to that interview at some point, he even sits there and says during the interview, oh yeah, I'm getting an erection now just thinking about it. Oops, I better pull my dress down. Yeah, you have this fucknut who is using the transgender acceptance thing to legitimize his fetish lifestyle. That is all it is. Now, if somebody wants to be a 6-year-old girl when they're actually a 52-year-old man, and they want to call somebody daddy while he's got 7 inches of rock hard cock up his ass, fine. That's what you want to do. I have all the respect for somebody that decides to do what they want to do, whatever, but call it a fetish. Don't hijack the trans community to legitimize the fact that you wanted to ditch out on your wife and kids so you can go take some old wrinkly dick.
What's he doing now?
Right now, he's probably on his knees with about 7 inches of cock down his throat. And that's the thing. Is like the actual trans people do not switch back and forth between being what they are and what they say they are. They, if they say that, hey, I'm a girl, they live as one. He's trying to say that he's a 6-year-old girl. Well, he's got a cell phone, he's got credit cards, he's got his own damn apartment or whatever else. It's like, oh, no. If you're going to be this 6-year-old girl, hand over the motherfucking cell phone, because no, little girls don't have cell phones. Little girls don't have credit cards. Little girls don't put YouTube videos on motherfucking YouTube where they're peeing in a trash can at a friggin' restaurant up in Canada and then post the address of the video. I swear to God, at the end, he's sitting there and he's like, ooh, I gotta pee. And, oh, bathrooms are closed. So he grabs the friggin' little trash can and then, I gotta pee. And then post the address of the restaurant at the end of the video in the credits. And I'm like, oh my God, had I caught this like right when it got up there, I'm even still thinking about calling the freaking health department and saying, hey, look, with everything else I've seen this person do, I think that they actually did. But the very fact is that if the management is going to allow a video to be posted where somebody is acting like they're peeing in a trash can that is kept near the bathrooms in the public area, then what the hell else is going on in that kitchen? But he hijacked the trans acceptance movement to legitimize his fetish lifestyle. That's all it is, straight up, pure and simple.
Trans people actually go through a lot, and the last thing they need is some 50 some guy in his 50s to pretend that he's a trans.
Oh yeah, yeah. Remember Rachel Dolezal? she was born white, but she's transracial, and she actually was working for the NAACP.
Mm-hmm.
She actually quit before they fired her. But yeah, I mean, like I noticed that she faded into obscurity really quickly because nobody was actually just accepting this transracial stuff. Oh, let's see, what time is it?
9:16
Anyway,
over here.
yeah, I'm actually gonna get going so that way, so I can, because I need to actually get to bed pretty soon. But yeah, if you want to learn costuming and stuff like that, yeah, like I said, look up Pepakura and check out the Pepakura library.
Okay.
Yeah, the Pepakura library. It's on Facebook.
I could message you for that link.
Let's. Well, I mean, it's on Facebook. It's just PEPAKU.
Spell that again.
Yeah, just look for that on Facebook, Pepakura Library. That's like the main Pepakura group on there. And then just Google Pepakura tutorials and stuff like that, and you'll basically learn everything from there. Yeah, I'm gonna be every day. I'm gonna be streaming as I build, and so you'll be able to actually, at least watch the process. But yeah, you saw how. And that's just because I wasn't. I mean, the only reason why it took me as long as it did on this is because I wasn't just focused on that. No, if I'm actually just focused on doing this, I can punch out. So I can punch out a lot of stuff. I also don't have the various sections put out and ready to go yet. But yeah, that's just that one section. And then yeah, and you got this right here. And then I'll make the next section, everything goes with it. But for now, my ass is going to, cut this off because I need to get my ass to bed.
All right.
All right, base.
Base.